Hello and welcome to Weather History Episode 3. Today we're going to be going over the New Year's Eve tornado outbreak. Before we do get into this video though, this is proudly sponsored by Floyd Glass and Window. Check them out in the link below. So let's get into the overview of this outbreak. We did have some violent tornadoes up to EF3 intensity, this one in particular in the Mississippi Valley. During the tornado outbreak towards the end of 2010, that is the New Year's Eve tornado outbreak. We did have 7 EF3s, 5 EF2s, 14 EF1s, and 11 EF0s with no gustnadoes reported, with a total of 37 tornadoes. Let's get into where the areas impacted were. So we do see a few in our area, with the big dots being EF3s, the little yellow dots being EF2s, the beige dots being EF1, and the green dots being EF0s. You can actually see we did have an EF3 in our area. So let's get into what happened before the outbreak. So you can see the potential was too low according to the Storm Prediction Center's map. Although if we get into the text, you can see that they do see a possibility of severe storms around New Year's Eve. Then if we go 3 days before December 30th, not 31st, but 30th, we do see a 5% chance of severe thunderstorms, and that is surrounding Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. Not the entire state, though. Getting into the synopsis, we can see large discrepancies in the weather models, meaning that they disagree. We can see that the expectations for deep convection, meaning strong thunderstorms, is to become increasingly probable, as well as the support for potential supercells and organized line segments of storms capable of a tornado or damaging wind risk. Then getting into the Day 2 outlook for December 30th, we see that 5% chance of severe thunderstorms, a little larger now. You can clearly see that if we put them side by side. Then, with the Day 2 outlook, now we want to get into the text. So, with the first part of it, it says that a couple of degrees Celsius higher on the theta E, which is just a weather parameter that we use to predict severe weather, we could have raised concerns for supercells, although the main threats appear to be hail and damaging winds. Down on number 2, though, we do see that severe potential in this regime also appears to be in the form of large hail and occasional gusts that penetrate the shallow, stable layer. Then getting into the Day 3 severe storm outlook for December 31st, we do see now a 15% chance of severe thunderstorms on the 31st, meaning that this could be a dangerous severe storm day. We can actually see that around our area. You can see that it does say that supercell development is possible, with damaging winds and tornadoes, in addition to severe hail, a possibility. Now, getting into the first day of the outbreak, this is the Day 1 outlook with a 5% chance of large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes. Then, if we continue to get into this, the text does indicate that we do have the possibility for near-surface-based storm activity, which just means that a few tornadoes could touch down. Seeing now a brand new outlook, it does look as if it has shrunk some. Then we do see, monitoring for severe storm development, a mesoscale discussion. Mesoscale discussions are issued by the Storm Prediction Center when they're thinking about issuing, expanding, or shrinking a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch. Getting into the text, it does say that a watch is unlikely in this scenario, although the potential does exist for a few severe thunderstorms to occur this evening and overnight, with gusty winds appearing to be the most likely severe threat, although hail and tornadoes also do have a threat. Now getting into the 2 tornadoes, one did cause a whopping $2 million in damage while only an EF1. We did have an EF0 and an EF1. This was not a good thing at all, with the EF1 getting up to 300 yards wide. Then in the second day of the outbreak, we see the day 1 outlook indicating some particularly dangerous storms occurring with that slight risk. We do see the tornado probabilities, though, not really indicating that we're going to have too many tornadoes anywhere outside of the Louisiana, Mississippi area. Getting into that, though, funny enough, the first tornado watch is issued not in either of those areas, but in Missouri. You can see a good chunk of southwestern Missouri in that tornado watch, with the states of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kansas also a little bit in this watch. We do see a 30% chance of tornadoes and a 20% chance of violent tornadoes within this tornado watch. You can also see then they issue a brand new mesoscale discussion. No watch is going to occur, though, as the storm threat is not high enough. Then an EF3 tornado does occur in Arkansas, in Washington County. A National Weather Service storm survey confirming the EF3 intensity with a width of up to 500 yards. It did kill 4 people and do $1.5 million in damage. Then, continuing on, a new tornado watch is issued, actually including a vast majority of our area, but you can see exactly right here in this black circle where that EF3 tornado did occur in Arkansas, with the 30%, 20% in the probabilities. Then, continuing on, the Storm Prediction Center issues a brand new outlook, and this outlook does extend that 5% tornado probability up towards our area, with now the 2% surrounding it, so quite a bit of a change since the previous outlook. Then a mesoscale discussion goes out in Louisiana, showing that a watch is possible. Then a new severe weather outlook does come out, showing now our area surrounded in a 5% tornado probability, but also Kentucky, Tennessee, Illinois, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, all within the 5% tornado probability. Then, continuing on, we can see a brand new tornado watch is issued, actually for all of these counties, with once again a 30% to 20% ratio in the tornado stuff. Then another new watch does come out, and you can see that it actually does have a 40%, 60% kind of thing. So we do have a 60% chance of tornadoes, 40% chance of violent tornadoes. So you can see a particularly dangerous situation going out. Then, continuing on, the Storm Prediction Center issues another new outlook, this one showing that the 5% probability is moving with this line of thunderstorms and is moving out of our area. Then a new tornado watch is issued, having a 50%, 30% probability, with the 30% chance of violent tornadoes and a 50% chance of just tornadoes. Then, here we are with the initial Storm Prediction Center Day 1 outlook, and you can see how much it's changed. Just north, though, of the current slight risk, you can clearly see that we did have many tornado and hail reports outside of the slight risk, but you can also see a good chunk of them within the slight risk. Here are all the tornadoes that occurred this day. You can see I did find a couple of tornadoes that were around the St. Louis area, but we did have 5 EF3 tornadoes. That's quite a few EF3s. We fortunately did not get any EF3s on this day. So here's some just radar of a tornado warning that did go out on this day, as well as a Storm Prediction Center thing. And look at all of the tornado watches that are going out at this point, and you can see quite a few of them. So we see them kind of all over the place within that slight risk area. Then a new mesoscale discussion does go out, showing isolated tornadoes firing on the 3rd day of the outbreak. That does turn into a tornado watch that does impact the following states: Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, impacting a vast majority of the Florida Panhandle, all of the Alabama and Mississippi coasts, and somewhat inland of Alabama. We do see a 40% chance of tornadoes and a 20% chance of violent tornadoes within this watch. Getting into that, we can see all the tornadoes that did occur. We did have 2 EF3s that did occur, and all of these confirmed tornadoes did occur within the state of Mississippi. Some of them doing up to $3 million in damage. $5 million, I'm sorry. $5 million in damage. That's a lot of money. So let's get into the overall summary. You can see where all the tornadoes touched down, and here's radar just indicating where exactly everything was. So you can see as all the storms do fire off and cause some problems, and you can see that we do obviously have a few supercells from time to time. But the worst ever is yet to come. Actually, this year, I'll be going over all tornado outbreaks that did occur this year, and a few special tornadoes that did impact our area, including the strongest ever to hit the St. Louis area. Also, you'll be able to see the worst tornado outbreak of all time on April 27th, 2011. So stay tuned for the next episode of Weather History. So, continuing with showing that this was the worst ever tornado outbreak, not this one, but the one that I'll be going over fairly soon. This tornado outbreak that is coming up in weather history would have many tornado watches and warnings. You can see through Alabama, in South Carolina, in North Carolina, in Virginia, West Virginia, all over the country. And we can also see them almost, not actually, but almost impacting the St. Louis metropolitan area, although we did get impacted on the 24th. Check me out on social media at Microcasting on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. This is Microcasting St. Louis, signing out.